Okay, so here I am back for part 2 of the Tic Tac Toe Hat, and I had to do it as 2 parts because my computer decided to have to restart, so I had to actually start the video again, and it doesn't do that with webcam, so I had to make it in 2 parts. So here we are with the hat. So we were going to go back to the hat, and so I'll again go through the hat. So we have this nice chain cast on here, and then we did our little sequence of the curvy wave stitch. So we'd have a really nice base for our brim, and then we have the brim stitch right in here, E-wrap in 2. And then this is where I've gone into the pattern, so that's what we need to do next, and this is the pattern, the tic-tac-toe pattern. Now, you actually already know all the stitches in it, and the reason all this work goes together so well is this is the E-wrap in 2 stitch. Here we have the owl eye with the purl, and this tic-tac-toe is made up of owl eye and the E-wrap in 2. And that's why they all kind of blend together so nicely in this hat. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a row of the owl eye, and I made sure that that's where I'd be starting, and you can tell the last row I did was an E-wrap in 2 because of the way it looks. I'm going to take a close-up. There you go, E-wrap in 2 looks like this. You can see the work there, and there's nothing there, and you can see that these were wrapped together, right? And you can see which ones are wrapped together and which ones aren't. Wrapped together, nothing. Wrapped together, nothing. Wrapped together. So that tells me, because our sequence is we do one owl eye for our row 1, row 2 is E-wrap 2 pegs together, row 3 is owl eye again, and row 4 is E-wrap 2 pegs together, alternating. So we know that our next row is going to be to do owl eye. So we're ready for row 1. So wherever you ended up when you were doing your E-wrap in 2 brim, you're going to come to do here. So if you ended up over there, you're going to put the yarn under, so that you don't have to go as far. So you're going to put it under the next peg. Then you're going to come over, wrap in front of peg 1, and just knit it over and go right into owl eye. Okay, so we just go around the loom, doing our owl eye stitch nice and loose. And then I'll meet you up here. Okay, here I am just ending the owl eye row. And we want to wrap this one the second time, but not this one. Okay, so we're going to wrap pegs 1 and 2 for our first E-wrap 2 pegs. And we know that our third row will be owl eye again, and then we'll be wrapping those 2 pegs. So wrapping pegs 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and we've done this before, so you know what we're doing. So I'll just meet you back when we're going to do our owl eye row. So I'll meet you back over here. Okay, so here we are, and I know that even if I'm into my owl eye row, you know, I know that this, when the yarn is here, that this is the start of row 2, because when we start row 3, we're over here and have to go under a peg to bring it over. So we do our owl eye row. So from here we just come over in front and do our owl eye row. So this is row 2. So we'll just go around doing our owl eye row. And then I will meet you up and we'll start our row 3. Okay, so since I'm wrapping these 2 pegs, I'm going to wrap my last wrap and not wrap over that one and just end there, and then we start with these 2 pegs and do our double wrap, double E wrap. Okay, so now you basically know how to do it. You've got your row 1 and you're just going to do a row of owl eye. Your row 2 and you're just going to E wrap 2 pegs starting with these 2. Row 3, a row of owl eye, and then row 4, another row of E wrap and 2, and then you just repeat that pattern all through. Now if you're using the loom that has 41 pegs, or you have any odd loom, row 1, row 2 of your E wrap and 2 will be these 2 pegs, and then you won't be able to wrap these 2, so you'll be wrapping your last peg with peg 1 for your row to stagger them. And so there's your 4 rows, and you're just going to do it till you get to within a ½ inch of the length that you want. Now I'm doing 9 inches, which is my favorite length to give me a slouchy hat because I've got a very small head. So 9 inches is usually an average lady's head, but do the length you want. You can have a normal hat out of it, or you, not just a beanie hat, normal hat, beanie hat, toque in Canada we call it, or you can have a slouchy hat. We also call that a toque in Canada, just by how long that you have your hat to be. So if I want it to be 9 inches, I'm going to stop at 8.5, because our bind off sequence is going to take ½ inch. So do your hat, get to the length you want, and then I'll meet you up, and we will just bind off together. Okay, I'm at my 8.5 rows, so I'm going to start my next sequence, and I'm too far away again. I don't want to go, I want to keep this consistent, so I'm going to go down as if to purl, bring it up and flip it over and pull, and then I can just start on peg 1. Now what we're going to do is 4 rows of E wrap, and just normal E wrap, E wrapping, E wrapping, E wrapping. So 4 rows of this, so very easy. We just E-wrap them and knit them off, and I'll meet you back here after your 4 rows. Okay, I've done my 4 rows of the E-wrap, so I'm ready to do the final sequence. We're going to do something before we actually pick up the things, but I'm just going to go ahead and wrap around 1.5 times and cut my yarn now, and then while I'm doing this I won't have to have the yarn bugging me. Just flip it over here. Okay, there we go. So now what we're going to do, so that we can have a nicer, thinner crown, is we're just going to take, there, where's the yarn? Okay, it's on this peg. Yeah, it's right there. So we're just going to take peg 1, the yarn from it, and pop it onto peg 2, or take the yarn from peg 3, pop it onto peg 4, and we're just going to do that all the way around the loom. But what I'm going to do as I go is just knit them over. Then I won't have to come back to do it later. So whenever we knit one over, we take the next one and we pop it onto the next peg, and then just knit it over. Take the next one, pop it onto the next peg, and then just knit it over. Take the next one beside, pop it on, take it over, peg beside it, pop it on, take it over. So that's all we're going to do. And that's going to reduce it by half, which is a pretty significant amount, especially with this, You can tell if you actually make a mistake and you're going to take this one to bring it over because it's too tight, it won't go. But because you've E-wrapped, these other ones move over really nice and easy. I find this is a really fast way to reduce, and then we only have half of the pegs on this loom to pick up at the end, which 36 peg loom, so only 18 pegs to pick up, and that's a pretty easy amount to drawstring. And look at this, we're getting really close. We're almost going to be done our hat soon. And then the last one over. And there we are. And knit it off. Okay. Then all we're going to do is get a needle. So I'll just go get my needle. And I'm back with my needle. And I'm just going to thread my needle. There we go. And I'm just going to go pick up the loops. Okay, so I'm going to start with this one here. Oh, that one? Yeah, I'll start with this one here. I think that'll be fine. Yeah. And just pick up all the loops. This is sure pretty yarn. I'll make sure that I put the yarn on the front page so you can tell which color it is, but it's a Brett, James C. Brett, chunky. And these are really nice yarns to work with. It's about the same size as a Barcelona from Michaels, but it's a lot softer. It's a really nice yarn for making clothing with. Also has a nice little sheen to it. It's not super shiny, but it's just got a nice little sheen. Okay, well, here we go. We're almost there. So now we're going to pick up this one that had the yarn coming from it. And we're just going to go back and pick up the first one we picked up again. There, get in there. And now we can pop them all off. You can actually have been taking them off as you went. But there's only 18 pegs, so I decided to just leave them on because it's going to be fast enough to get them off. Okay, and then any stragglers, take them off. And there we go. Let's put the loom down here. And so then we're just going to drawstring it a little ways. And then I'm going to go inside the hat. So with the needle. There we go. Turn the hat inside out. And then we're just going to I'm just going to trim this a bit so that it's not so hard to work with. There we go. And drawstring the hat the rest of the way. And there we are, all drawstrung. So then I'm just going to take it like this. I like to hold on to it in a way that it's going to be easy for me to sew. Make sure it's nice and tight. And then I'm just going to sew around in a circle. Close off the hat. I'm going to tie a knot. I'm going to go under a couple yarns or one piece of yarn, and I'm just going to tie a knot in it. There. I guess some of my yarn got stuck together, and then I'm just going to go around a couple more times. And put another knot in it. There we go. I'm checking that it's together good. There we go. And I'm just going to cut the yarn. You can weave it in if you like. I don't bother. I just leave it like this. And turn it to the good side. And you can see that's what it looks like here. It's all done nice. And now we're going to stretch out the hat. So I get this out of the road and my scissors out of the road. And we'll just stretch our stitches and then set them. There. Oh, now you can really see the pattern on the hat. Look at that. That is just such a beautiful, beautiful pattern I came up with. It's just gorgeous. And then there's, you can see the one on the brim, and then you can see the nice chain stitch here, and how nice that looks, and how well the curvy wave stitch fits in with that. And there you go, there's your hat. Oh, and let's take a look at the brim we relaxed, so you can see that it's nice and relaxed. It's not a real bulky brim. It's nice to the touch here. And there you go. I hope you enjoyed it. And until we see you next time, bye.